Ladies and gents, welcome back to another live stream. Again, I'm gonna say this again. I say this every time, probably, that every time we're going live on a Friday, it feels like we just went live on a Friday. These weeks are flying by. I'm getting texts right as I'm starting. Holy cow. I hope everybody's got themselves a wobbly pop and jumping on in here in the chat. Come on in, chat. What's happening? Welcome everybody for joining this evening, and well, let's just get into some things. It's been a busy week, so I haven't been able to cover every single story that's come along. In fact, there's a few stories that I've been working on that, heck, why don't we just get into tonight, because these are all things. Sometimes if you hang on to a story for too long, it's gone. It's gone. It's out of the news cycle anymore. Everybody's moved on. They're talking about other things, but that's the thing. Alcohol is poison, but cheers. Yeah, sure. Grab yourself just a regular pop and have or some water. Who knows? Whatever you like. But let's wet our whistles here. Ottawa's evil. I agree with you there. Evening all from Brandon. Welcome in. Thanks for coming. Hello, Clydesters. Matthew, the thumbs up, Canadian flags. Smash the like button. Yes, actually, get on down there. Smash that like button. I don't think I promo that enough. I don't think I do that enough, or maybe you guys like that I don't do this stuff too much. I'm not like your typical YouTuber, smash the like and all of that stuff every single time you tune into the videos. I hope people remember that stuff. It really does help. And the reason why it helps is YouTube has a way of recommending videos to people and live streams and all these kinds of things. What they do is they look at what you're looking at. They look at what you're searching for, what you're actually clicking on, the recommendations that you follow, and they go, hey, that looks like something that this guy might like. And if you fit a certain profile that, looks like a lot of other people out there, like, people maybe who care about liberty, people who care about their freedoms, care about fiscal responsibility, government, these kinds of things. These are the interests that you hold and other people hold. You hit that like button, it sends out a signal to the algorithm as a whole and says, hey, you know what? More people that I know a lot more people that like this kind of stuff. And since this guy likes it so much, he's willing to actually engage with it, push a button. I think I'm gonna recommend this out to some more people. And that's how this all works. And it's very helpful. So if you just smash that like button, it helps out a whole ton, and I won't bother you so much about it. But of course, we'll have to remind people every once in a while, because it's just the way it goes. It is just the way it goes. I mean, we're seeing hundreds of people in here, and we're slowly climbing up with the likes that are on the live stream. And you can do it from mobile, you can do it from your PC, you can do it from your MacBook, or whatever you're using. It's right there. Go on and hit that. Let's get into some of these chats here. Did you hear that the GST tax holiday is not mandatory for businesses to implement? Northern Perspective just to put up a video on it. Yeah, this is part of what I'm going to be talking about tonight. I know that news just dropped tonight, but oh man, yeah, we're going to get into that, because that's a spicy meatball. The fact that it does nothing. So the savings that people thought they were going to get, they're not even going to get unless they get a rebate in their taxes down the road by saving all of their receipts and showing how much GST they did on line item by line item. Give me a break. This is just going to be a nightmare for anybody who wants to save $5. Not kidding. Dave Edwards with a $10 super chat. Thank you so much. How stupid does Jugmeat look after he supported Trudeau, and now the Liberals are sending the post workers back to work, especially since this verse subject was part of the confidence motion of this very subject was part of the confidence motion. Yeah, they look like a bunch of jerks. He looks like a jerk. They all look like jerks. Yeah, people want that back. Holy cow! I just put a bigger screen. Okay, got it working now. Great. I can see better, even though I got my good glasses on today. Still need a bigger picture. That works out a lot better. But yeah, thank you, David Edwards, for the super chat. But yes, I absolutely agree. He looks like a total jerk. He made this. I'm not gonna play your games, he says. As they put forward a motion that had nothing but his own words on it, and then of course, they send everybody back to work, and that's the way it goes. But not until it's too late. Not until it's too late for your Christmas packages to get shipped out. Not until it's too late for all of that, they get people to go back to work. Courage, the cowardly dog, with the $2 super chat. Thank you, super sticker. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. That's great. Thank you. Yeah. So that's one story among many, and we're gonna get into some of these. Wanted to throw this one out there because Elon Musk posted about this, and this one makes me laugh. This is actually Donald Trump on his True Social. How it started, how it's going. Obviously, that's a picture of him in his mugshot when he was arrested and charged with felony offenses, which they're not going to stick. But now, Person of the Year, Time Magazine. Oh, man, that is just way too funny. That is way too funny. But that's the world we live in right now. And you know what? The United States is doing pretty good, I think. I think they're going to be doing pretty good right now. It's still... I mean, he's still not president until January 20th. It's kind of hard to believe that that's the case because he's already getting so much stuff done, which is really crazy. I received all mine by courier. Yeah, you know what? Of all the things that I needed, I mean, it would have been nice. There's a lot of people that have coffee right now on order, and we can't get it out to them until Canada Post starts shipping again. So we're actually looking to replace Canada Post permanently from ever, relying on them for coffee shipments. So yeah, we're working on that right now, and we're even working on possible Amazon storefront. So it really greatly reduced the price of shipping on coffee items, any items off of the Clyde Do Something store. So yeah, hopefully we can get that worked out as soon as possible. Unfortunately, it won't be in time for the holidays because that's just the way things go. Hey Clyde, are your fingerprints starting to grow back? yeah. I got a couple of good scrapes. Again, it was very lucky, a lucky strike. Holy cow! And I know I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing. We all do that. And sometimes you get bit, and it's just the way it goes. I mean, I was cutting up with a grinder. You shouldn't do that. And of course, it happens. I always make sure I keep the trajectory of where a disc could go out of the line of vitals. But for safety third, yeah. For some people didn't see that post. Maybe I'll pop that one on here so everybody can see. I don't even know why I posted it on Twitter. I just thought people might be curious to that. Where even is it? Let me get this up here. This was this was me this week. Yikes. Yeah, grinder bit, and just a scratch. Lucky. Went through the neoprene gloves that I typically wear at work. That's a thing. Jugmeat does not need his pension. His net worth is $78 million. But for someone like that, every little penny is they're gonna go for that kind of thing. But yeah, so just a scratch. It looks way worse than it actually was. It tore up the glove. Yeah, lucky. Absolutely lucky. I actually walked over to another tech who's incidentally has a chunk of his finger missing, but that was from when he was a kid. I went over and I just showed him, I'm like, how lucky am I today? He's like, man, go buy a lottery ticket. Yeah. So scratches, but I mean, I've had way worse. Actually, I'm suffering. I got nailed with a wobbly socket the other day, right above the cuticle on my thumb, and it just stings constantly. But that's just the way it's the line of work that I work in, right? So for all of those people out there that don't know what I do for a living, I'm an auto mechanic. Every day I go in and I fix cars on the daily, and that's my routine. I wake up super early, I make these videos on YouTube, and then I head off to work, and my family bids me adieu. I'm not kidding. My kids come to the door and say goodbye. I love it every morning. So wholesome and lovely. But it's just the way things work in this house. Granite Man with a $2 super chat. Will Jugmeat vote non-confidence? RE Canada Post. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. He'll send it by snail mail. That way it won't come in time for the holidays. That's really funny. I noticed not many join green member in chat. Can I suggest you lower the join base rate to 99 cents? Many of us join many Canadian content creators. Yeah, I mean, I'm open to suggestions. We'll throw that out there. Throw that out there in the community. We'll see how that gets a response. But yeah, I'll look into that. Purchase kitten knife cutting gloves. kitchen knife cutting gloves. I'm not gonna wear that stuff at work. It's not one of those things. Especially working with automotive, like working in an automotive application, you just get grease build up in your gloves. If you wear like material gloves, if it's really cold, I'll put on some of those mechanic gloves, but usually I need to have the dexterity in my fingertips, and the neoprene gloves are like basically the only thing that you can really wear, and they're even annoying. It is like that. It just happens to be one of those situations. Mr. Roscoe Pico, the $10 super chat. You need to go to school for being a mechanic or a tradesman. What? You need to go to school for being a mechanic or a tradesman. Many years of school. A rule the government came up with. Why don't you need to prove your competency working for the government? Great point. Absolutely. Yeah, I had to go through an apprenticeship program. It's a minimum 4 years. A lot of times you have more than 4 years experience by the time you actually get your Red Seal technician license. In automotive, there's all kinds of other trades you have to have that. Why is it that there's nothing for government? Yeah, great question. Or at least to be part of the bureaucracy. But you know what? I honestly, like, I know it's tongue in cheek to say that, but what would happen there is you'd have this like barrier to entry, and then only the worst candidates would end up there. It's like, ticketing for technicians and all that stuff. That all started with trades unions, and it was really just to keep people out of the trades at the beginning. And now where are we? Where are we? We actually have way less people in the trades because the barrier to entry is so high. It really is quite high, especially in the automotive world. Even other tradesmen are like, yeah, I'd love to do all kinds of stuff, but being a mechanic is you have to have too many expertise in one trade, and the tool investment is it's off the chains for most people. Just me, Nicole, with $5 super chat says, Jugmeat projected to lose his riding according to the National Telegraph. Yeah, I love Wyatt. He's got a great show going on there, and I've reported on this as well. If you look at his riding, it's a new riding, so he lost the old riding of Burnaby South, and now it's like I can't remember, it's Burnaby, Westminster, or something like that, and he's not even coming close to third place. Well, no, he's third place, but he's like a distant third place. So it's really a contest between the Liberals and the Conservatives in that riding. He's done. His only chance for a pension is to keep the government in power right now as it stands. That's it. Cheesecake Science Team. What? I'm wondering. Maybe I missed the context on that one. Cheesecake. I love cheesecake. That's my favorite thing ever. I can't deny that. Was this on NDP? It was just reported the GST holiday is not mandatory. We're going to get into that. We are going to get into that. Justine, give or take a couple of years. So true, Lightgiver. Oh, I missed the comment from Lightgiver. David Edwards with $5 super chat. I have 2 Red Seals. I do think you want to know the guy. Sorry. I do think you want to know that the guy you are dealing with is competent. Without qualifications, you really wouldn't know. So, okay, then that's a really good point. It's a really good point. I maybe I saved it. Mike Rowe did a thing on Fox News, and it's really good. I love Mike Rowe. I think he's fantastic. He brings up a lot of good points, a lot of good stuff. But yes, you want to have competency in your technicians. I believe you're competent. If you've got 2 red seals at this point, that would that would obviously show that. And anyone with a red seal, you'd say, yeah, competent for the most part. I have met red seals that just squeak by and aren't very competent. So I mean that is a thing too. But so for example, in the United States, they do not have a requirement. They do not have a requirement that mechanics have any form of licensing. It's just not the way it is there. But they do have consumer advocacy groups, and one of those is Automotive Service Excellence, the ASE, and they do a certification. So you can get certified through that. And if you want to have ASE written on the shop front, you have to have technicians in the shop that are ASE certified. And it's important, and it makes you more valuable as a technician if you're ASE certified, that kind of thing. So yeah, what I was saying though is that there was trade unions. They wanted the certification because their idea was to make a barrier to entry because they wanted less competition in their market, the market of selling their labor. And that was the thing. That's where all of the licensing originally came from. I'm a big fan of certification, obviously, for obvious reasons, but let's be true to where that all came up. Granite Man with a $2 super chat says, as retired CSIS member, be aware we are not safe. Wow, okay, you're a retired CSIS member. Yeah, I believe you. And we're not even safe from CSIS at this point with all the stuff that we're hearing about. Clyde Beer, chop to it. Right here. Don't you worry. I have one ready. It's always ready right at 6:30 Friday. That's beer o'clock. Wire from National Telegraph is on my shit list. He called me a socialist. What? Did he? What for? I'm kind of curious about that now. That's funny. I mean, funny. Obviously, you don't think it's funny. But yeah, Clyde, where's your wobbly? I got it. We're good. Howdy. Yeah, they just dropped a video about the tax holiday. Yeah, we're going to go over some of that. I don't know what they said in their video. I haven't seen it, but I'm going to go over what I know. All right, Clyde. Especially dangerous with recently trained foreign truckers. Yeah, I've been hearing about some of that stuff. But the reality in the situation for that too, like, okay, gotta understand that. My brother is a trucker in Northern Ontario, and a lot of guys are retiring. And he's telling me there are no replacements. There are none. There's nobody to replace the truckers that are out there, and the only guys that they're having come in are foreigners, East Indians, a lot of that. So yeah, I mean, obviously we need to vet people that get into the work, and we need to encourage people to get into these jobs, which is just absolutely insane. We had this whole generation of people telling other people to work smarter, not harder, and like showing someone who's dirty versus someone who's got a diploma. Excuse me, a diploma. Those wobbly bobs are, whoa, give me the burps already. But here's the thing, like the situation, they were encouraged to go in to this line of work, and what do they end up with? They all work as like baristas or whatever. You got all these people with college degrees that are useless, absolutely useless. Go get a trade. And I would encourage every young person, go get a trade, and then if you don't like it, you always have it. You've got a trade, then go do other things. Get into academia, get into all those other things. I mean, that's what I did. I'm really interested in economics, and I've read so much on the science, and I think it is a science. I've read it so much about it, and I've studied it for over a decade. You can do this. You can do this. Get yourself a trade. And you might think, oh, well, you know, then it's really hard. I can't go to school. Well, you did it to get the trade. You worked your way through school. It's a thing if you want to go to school for other things. But I would encourage young people, all of them, to get themselves a trade of some sort, or at least a truck driver's license. Come on, something. Foreign truckers in Brampton, 3 to drive a truck, 3 to drive a truck, 2 to drive, 1 to back up the semi truck. Oh, that's sad. That's sad. You have to get a license for that, don't you? I'd have to see this. Jackass Whiskey and Pinto Beans. I like that name. With a $5 super chat. If Quebec can secede from the Union, why can't Alberta? Great question. Great question. If you follow the channel long enough, I'm pro balkanization of Canada if it leads to us eventually having a union where it's more like the United States of America, where you have your federal government and the states hold the more power, actually. That's the way it should be. I really agree with that system. I think every province should separate and then have a new federal government above them, just to bring them together, and that's it. So we can have trade agreements, all of those sorts of things. Gaetano, am I pronouncing that right? Is it Gaetano or is it Gaetano? I'm working with $2 super chat. I'm working in Montana. CSIS came to a gun show. Why? That's a good question. Well, I could see that. I mean, I think they're dumb. I think they're dumb to go to a gun show to look for guns that might be people are trying to smuggle into Canada. Why would they do it through a gun show? That's where like all the, especially after this like gun show loophole junk that's not true, came out, which is just a farce. The gun show loophole. You're talking about private sales at a gun show, that's legal. People are allowed to do that. Nobody's doing under the table sales at a gun show, risking their license, the thing that their whole livelihood is depending on. No, that's not happening. And if there's illegal gun smuggling, it's not happening at gun shows. They're having it in other locations. But yeah, that's CSIS, wasting our tax dollars. Bachelor of Liberal Arts. Yeah, go get yourself one of those. Do they actually teach you how to brew coffee when you're getting that? Because they ought to. That's the kind of career path you're gonna have. Your your local Starbucks barista. Wow. He was discussing the CEO from okay. I commented on how much the Inns Co made $240 billion, but turned down procedures. Okay. I want to that's a big topic. That's a big topic, and we're going to be talking about some other things tonight. So you guys can talk about it all you want. Let's get into some of these other things. So I wanted to talk about this. Here's this concept of right after this, David Edwards with a $5 super chat. Any province can, went to buy too quick. Any province that votes to leave the Confederation has that right. It's in the Constitution. Yeah, there you go. Of course, Quebec with their, we're totally gonna leave. Just give us more power. Like, get out of here. Wow, thanks guys. I really appreciate this. You guys are really generous tonight. Yeah, Gaetano with a $2 super chat. Sheriff made them leave. They were sitting in car. Oh, okay. They were sitting in their car. Their CSIS mobile. What does the CSIS mobile look like? All right, let's get into this. So, Come on. Oh, a fife. A fife? Am I pronouncing that right? I think the libs are scared Trump will cut a lot and make it obvious to the world at large that governments, that large governments hinder nations. Things will get good, so good in the U.S., it will be dumb not to follow their lead. Well, you know what? I'm honestly going to put this one out there that the U.S. at this point, because Trump had a 4-year hiatus, it's actually Argentina that's showing everybody how it's done. So they're following Argentina's lead at this point. And congratulations, Argentina, because I want to see it. I want to keep watching this happen. They're killing it. Like, unbelievable. I had a tweet out here. Yeah, here we go. Let's pop this up on the screen here, because this has to be talked about. Milei, Argentina. This is from Mario Neufeld. Argentina ends deficit for the first time in 123 years. He's been the president for a year. They had 40 years of socialist government, more than 40 years, since the 40s, sorry, of socialist governments and the slow burn, like a Canadian style slow burn of socialist government that slowly takes over every industry, slowly brings in corruption and cronyism everywhere you can imagine. And inflation, print the money instead of borrowing it. Absolutely. Oh, Red, is that Reed or Red Atlas next to Fountainhead? Atlas Shrugged is probably one of my favorite novels. I don't read a ton of fiction, but that one I was riveted to when I first read it. It's a really good one. I definitely recommend it to everyone out there. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Atlas Shrugged is the novel by Ayn Rand. She wrote it like way long ago. A long time ago, and accurately predicted everything that's happening right now. So yeah, the deficit was the root of all evils. Without it, there is no debt, no emission, no inflation. I like it. I like how he calls it emission. Emission being, I guess, like I don't know. Today we have sustained fiscal surplus, free of default, for the first time in 123 years, and I don't know if it's just a translation, but default. So you have to understand this. When you can't pay your bills as a government, there's two ways of reneging on your promises. You don't pay it, and then everyone else, your lending or your credit rating tanks. And nobody's going to lend you any money, and then it becomes this huge problem. So they don't do that. They never do that. What they do is called a soft default. What they do is they print money and then pay it back with that money. And then later, everybody else, pays the price by all their money being worthless. So the people who get the money first, they get the benefit of it being at full value. But it's still a default. You're still defaulting on your debt. It's just a soft default. That's it. It's like forever amortization. Imagine that. It's just like, oh, we're just gonna amortize my mortgage infinitely, and I'm gonna bring my mortgage payments down to $20 a month. Like, at this rate, that Freeland might as well come forward and say that. Like, yeah, we're just gonna give forever amortization. There's a certain point, right? It's like the argument for minimum wage, like raising minimum wage laws. Well, okay, let's just make minimum wage $1,000 an hour. Then everybody's rich. Well, if you do that, then that's extreme, and then everybody will be unemployed. Oh, okay, so you're acknowledging that everyone will lose their jobs. So at what point is there some happy equilibrium? No. Or is it just a situation? By Clyde, the budget will balance itself. Oh, yeah, there you go. No, this is how you balance a budget. You do it like Milei is doing it in Argentina. We do it like Trump is planning with Doge and Elon Musk, Vivek Ramaswamy. This is great. This is what's going on. And absolutely agree. I absolutely agree that this is the way we should be going with this. But so I wanted to talk about this because we keep getting derailed. And it's fine. Thank you so much for the support via super chats. I really do appreciate it. Let's get into this afuela with this topic. It all kind of ties in. How do you know that somebody's losing? They never stop talking about you. And this is where we are with the Liberals and the NDP. If you go onto their social media platforms, you can go onto their Instagram or wherever the heck they are. I go on X because that's where the real free speech is happening. I know there's still some hiccups as Elon Musk has taken it over, and there's still stuff in the code, the algorithm, and all that stuff. Hopefully all that stuff gets ironed out eventually, but here we are, and this is their social media platforms. If you go looking down, they never stop shutting up about the Conservatives and what the Conservatives are not doing when they voted against tax cuts for Canadians. Oh no, this is the thing that they do. Gaetano with another $2 super chat. Kite Paka. It's Gaetano. We need Justine gone. Okay, Gaetano. Sorry, not Gaetano. Apologize for that. But I'm glad I got the real way of pronouncing it. Thank you so much, Gaetano. Gotcha with that one. Jackass Whiskey and Pinto Beans with a $5 super chat. The worst part of Canada is that Commie Human Rights Commission. It's right out of 1984. My $5 is worth $10 Canadian. Yeah. Yes. Oh, holy cow. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. So this is going to inflate cause all kinds of inflation in the currency as well. With this tax relief, we're all getting a tax relief, and the Conservatives, they don't really like tax cuts. Because that's what they're all about. They're all about raising taxes on people and whatever. This and again, if you've been watching the channel over the past couple of weeks, you've probably been seeing this slow burn of me getting a little fed up with the cynicism coming out of Ottawa, because these people they don't say what they mean. They don't mean what they say. They say a bunch of crap, and it's just mind-numbing. It's mind-numbing how that works. Look at this, the change in color. It's like it's changed the room color. Holy cow, that's a lot of orange right there. RC Lamoureux with a $20 super chat. Thank you so much. There's a rumor on X that Bill Clinton's bastard son, who had facial reconstruction surgery, replaced Justin Trudeau in 2023. Has anyone noticed any difference in Trudeau? I find, if at all possible, this guy is crazier. What? I never heard anything about that. That is insane. That's nutty. But whatever. A lot of people think lots of crazy things. That's funny. That sounds like something right off of Alex Jones' show. Love it though. Love it. Thanks for sharing that, RC. Appreciate that. A Fife with a $5 super chat says, people who vote NDP are the people who think Elon Musk keeps $40 billion in his checking account doing nothing. His companies are worth billions, buddy. Oh, this is so funny. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. People who vote NDP are those people. Yeah, rich people are just hoarding that money. They're not. See, this is the difference between, and you'll get this with Jimmy over here all the time. Jugmeat, NDP, socialists, I mean, all the way, liberal socialists, communists, they'll always pull this one out of their hat. This is one of their favorite ones to go to, and that's confusing people between wealth and earnings. So wealth and like your salary, for example, they'll always bring up the middle class working class people's earnings, and then they'll compare them directly to wealth. Now in Canada, anyone who owns a home, you have a wealth of over $1 million. Yeah, you're a millionaire. Everybody in Canada who owns a home is a millionaire. That's wealth, right? Earnings is a completely different story. Earnings is what you pull in. So yeah, Saurav, thanks for the $2 super chat. Just to tell everybody you hate jag meat. I mean, there's a lot of people that share your sentiment, my friend. Absolutely. And yeah, get over and join the Discord if you're interested. The Discord link is only ever open during the live streams. We keep it pretty locked tight, just because we don't want to have it wide open where all the trolls will come in. There's pretty good conversations. After this live stream, I'll pop in and I'll join because I love to hear what other people are saying and having in these conversations that happen over the Discord. So if you're a Discord user, get on over there. If you're not a Discord user, it's just another social media platform where they have really good voice and video chat options. You could just pop in and just listen. You don't even have to if you just want to do the lurking thing. So get on over and give that a go. Where was I? These live streams, they always take different turns and they go all over the place. But that's why I like it. It's super fun. I love the interaction with you guys because at the end of the day, this is what the live streams are all about. And for a little bit, it got a little derailed. And it was more about other conversations. And that's not to say I'm not going to bring guests in more or in the future. But yeah, I'm really enjoying these interactions. The social interaction is a lot of fun. So that's why I wanted to bring that in. But yeah, so here we are. Here's the Liberals now, and the Liberals doing largely the same thing. And Justin Trudeau even. Conservatives are all talk. They're gonna not have military spending. Are you kidding me? This is the guy who told vets that we just don't have. You're just asking for too much. And that was years ago. And he's just coming out this campaign, total campaign for. I mean, how long are we gonna go with this campaign against the Conservatives? When we're not even having an election. There's not one announced. Well, I mean, there is one in a year, and they're already going hard at the Conservatives. The Conservatives haven't even come forward with any of their solid plans, and they don't plan to until the next election. In fact, the Liberals, they kept bugging, give us the plan. And, anytime that Pierre was talking about something, they would just start campaigning on that thing. So he's like, nah, until there's a campaign, until you call the election, I'm not even getting into my plan. I'm not even getting into that. And yeah, that's causing a lot of trouble on the right because there's a lot of people who think that Pierre, he's not sticking up for conservative values. I think at the moment he's looking at the playing field and he's going, I need to, as Trudeau is losing popularity with Liberals, he needs to, get some footwork in, some groundwork in, and get Liberals to go vote for him. Of course, we can get into that as well if you'd like. David Edwards with another $10 super chat. Thank you so much. Back in the 90s, my mom ran for MP for the NDP. Yes, she's a commie. I can tell you from seeing the people in the NDP that they hate conservatives and they do speak violence on conservatives and the rich, which is it's absurd. The thing is, you got to realize at the end of the day, generally Canadians are looking for the same thing. They're looking for the same thing. What do they disagree on? They disagree on the road to get there. Canadians, there's no Canadians that are like, yeah, I want jobs to be lost and I want everybody to live in poverty. No, nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. But there's a whole bunch of gaslighting back and forth on either side of what the other person wants. I happen to believe that people who vote Liberal genuinely want good things. They want a good economy. They want all these other things. But they're mistaken in their beliefs that the Liberals' pathway there is going to get us there. In fact, They are the, you know, the embodiment of what F.A. Hayek wrote about in The Road to Serfdom. It's the road to hell is paved in great intentions. But the thing is, the mechanisms that they're going for, they're very simple to understand on the surface concept, and yeah, people will believe it. They'll buy into it. It's a lot harder to sell people on conservatism. It's a lot harder to sell people on freedom over security. It really is. It's a hard job to sell that. But at the end of the day, it is the path. It is the path to prosperity. It is the path to, you know, a greater economy. It's the path to, you know, better fiscal situation for everybody. You know, more efficiency, more productivity. These are all the things that we should be striving for. But instead, as you try to promise people things, it creates a whole world of problems. But yeah, that's what? No, we're not gonna say stuff like that in the chat. Somebody, what? Most days Parliament is it is one of those kinds of shows. It really is. I'm getting so cynical, or I'm feeling so cynical about parliamentarians at the moment right now. Sarav with another $2 super chat. People like conservatism after crap hits the roof. It really is. It really is. It's only sellable to people. It's the whole, like, I didn't like what dad had to tell me, but now I'm in trouble and I'm calling dad to get for help, right? That at the end of the day is what's happening. But here we are. We're in a situation where the Liberals, they've put forward all of these programs to help Canadians. It's the old adage of, like, they take all your money and then they'll give you a little bit back and they'll say, here's money. Like, no, you mean can I have some of mine back? They create a bunch of dependents, and then they wonder why nobody's out there getting anything done, because they're all dependent on the government. But I digress. So here they are blaming Pierre for everything that he hasn't even done. He's never been Prime Minister of Canada. He's never led the majority party in Canada. That's it's not what he's done. Jackass Whiskey and Pinto Beans with a $10 super chat. Alberta could become the 51st state, and Puerto Rico could become the 52nd state. Alberta is conservative, and Rico is liberal. I would love to have Alberta be part of the United States. You and a lot of other people, holy cow, the sentiment that we're seeing right now, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And you know what? I'm a dual citizen, so to see them go and merge, it wouldn't hurt my feelings. None at all. None at all. I mean, that's where we're at. So yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's my sentiment on that one. A lot of people, if they're not considering Canada becoming the United States, they're considering leaving Canada, period. Trudeau is absolutely ruined this country. It's insane. So here we are. We're in a situation where the Liberals their popularity is collapsing. The NDP, the popularity is collapsing, and they're trying to strike at something. They're absolutely trying to strike at something. I'm all in to be North America. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And we need to, holy cow. All this talk about thumbs up for Clyde, please. Wow, thanks, Pat Allen. Appreciate that. Yeah, get down there in the comments. There's hundreds of you, and there's a few hundred likes on the stream. Get in there. Let's at least get to parity with the likes versus viewers. Holy cow, there are so many of you watching right now that have not hit the like button. It's very helpful. This is why I encourage it, because it is absolutely helpful to getting the message out there. So yeah, if you want to see the channel grow, which we all do, hit that like button. It's very, very effective. Where was I? So yeah, the Conservatives are being attacked by the Liberals and the NDP. But the Liberal NDP are in power. And they're not going out of power anytime soon. This isn't a thing, is it? Is this something that maybe they're looking into their crystal ball and they're going, it's not looking so hot for us right now. Well, yeah, it is not looking so hot for them right now. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at that. Holy cow. This is the national polling. I believe this is from 338 Canada. Federal projections. That's right. So 338 is showing the polling. Quebec, I don't know what the hell's wrong with you. Wake up. Wake up. I guess, you know, the whole language barrier thing has made it difficult for you to see what's happening outside of Quebec. But come on, friends, wake up. The separatists are, unless you actually want to separate, not doing you any favors. Let's just throw that out there. Not really. They're French. This is it. Yeah, Canada is being held hostage by two parties that have formed a coalition. It's not a coalition. And besides, I tore it up coalition. You know, that's the thing. That's where they're at. And it's clear that the people of Canada want rid of them, because you just look at the polling and it suggests that right there. Jackass Whiskey and Pinto Beans with a $5 super chat says, each state gets 2 senators. The House is based on population. For every 500,000 people, you get a House rep. Okay, I could get on board with that, but I think if we were coming into the United States, I think they would have more of a say over how much representation we get. Lady Love Cats gifting 10 memberships to the channel. Big thank you there, and all those members out there that just got a membership, give a big thank you to Milady Loves Cats. Holy cow, that is a big one. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I don't even have the right words for it. That's how much I appreciate. Thank you. That's great. That is fantastic. So derailed again. Yes, the Conservatives are clearly where representation is. So because we're looking at the polls, this is where Canadians want to be. This is where this is the type of representation that the Canadians are looking for. We're not getting that, and we're absolutely being held hostage, as was pointed out just a minute ago there. So thank you for that. Sorry. Getting to the next point here. Liberals are celebrating a collapsing economy. This is how bad it's getting. This is how bad the cope has become. Is that liberals are now celebrating a collapsing economy to own the Conservatives on social media. They're embracing bad economics. A good 20% of Canadians are literally brain dead, says Kirk Lubimov on X. And this is the reality. So Bank of Canada delivers another 50 basis point interest rate cut, bringing policy rate down to 3.25%. Woohoo, Canada! And how do you like them apples? They're saying, wow, we're making some serious mistakes. Dropping interest rates. This is all based on. Did Clyde just fart? No, I didn't. I would be a little bit more coy about it if I did, but no, I didn't. Chrome Fiction with a $5 super chat. Working my arse off 17 hours this weekend just for a nice Christmas, New Year's. Had a few laughs while on my scaffold. Thanks for the informative night. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Yeah, no, I really appreciate that message. Thank you. Thank you for that. Milady Loves Cats, who has been a member for 11 months, says, my pleasure. Merry Christmas to you, Clyde, and your family, and to all Clydesters. Wow, awesome. I appreciate that. Now, you guys are so great with the holiday cheer. and all of this stuff. Oh, incidentally, I want to mention for everyone who, tell me in the chat, have you been enjoying the Wednesday chats with Marty live, with the added little extra Q&A, because Marty and we've been really enjoying it. I'd love to hear what you have to say in the chat here tonight. But also, so we won't be doing the Christmas Day one, but we want to do one that week. So we're talking about doing it on Boxing Day. So yeah, Christmas Day. Sorry, we got our families. Like, I'm gonna spend time with my family. So Boxing Day, I'm actually gonna be driving. My mother-in-law is visiting right now. I'm gonna be dropping her off at the airport on Boxing Day. She flies back home to Japan. But then I'll be back in the evening around the right time. So where's Marty? Call him up. Marty's doing his own thing. We do Wednesdays, okay? So yeah, love Wednesday. Love the Wednesday chats. Yes, it's awesome. Okay, cool. So just so everybody knows, the Wednesday chat is going to be actually on Thursday next. Is that next week? The Christmas week. So Boxing Day. We won't be doing Christmas Day, but we will be doing New Year's Day, which also falls on a Wednesday. So while you're hungover, come join us talking about things live. Well, we'll probably be hungover. Or yeah, I like to tie one on New Year's. That's definitely a thing. So come check that out. It's gonna be great. Thanks so much. Canadian government, yeah, right. I made lasagna from scratch. Jackass with whiskey and pinto beans. Another $5 super chat. Thank you so much. You're being so generous tonight. I made lasagna from scratch, not really hard, and it just took it out of the oven. A nice brown top. So incidentally, I introduced my wife to proper homemade lasagna only last week, and it wasn't my homemade lasagna. We have a bakery in town that does the best meat pies and all this other stuff, and they made homemade lasagna, and so I got some of that. You know, not your like pizza shop lasagna. It's just like, you know, it doesn't have like the nice ricotta cheese and all that stuff. Like really nice lasagna. It's that's, you got to know the taste of proper lasagna. So I'm jealous. I'd love to, but my wife made a great cream pasta tonight, so that I'm full. I got my thing, and I got my wobbly pop. I'm happy. I hope you're enjoying your lasagna tonight. Like the Wednesday shows. Awesome. That's great. So like, we're going to keep that up. And yes, so everybody knows the format. Wednesdays with Marty, Fridays just a weekly. I've been doing this for a couple of years now. The weekly Friday roundup. And again, it's giving back to the community. You guys are the greatest. I love chatting with you guys. A lot of times I try my best to go into the comments, read as many comments as I can, comment back to as many comments as I can. But what's difficult is I put out so many videos, and I work full time, more than full time on top of that. So it is hard to really get a lot of feedback from everybody. And I'm trying as well to respond to people as much as I can on Twitter as well, or on X. So this is part and parcel of the whole thing. But let's get back to this. So the Bank of Canada just cut interest rates again, down to 3.25%. Pierre Poilievre is a whiny baby. He's not happy about it. Of course, is he not happy about it? Is that the reality of the situation? We have other people saying Bank of Canada runs independently from the government and only responds to economic signals in our economy. PP has no clue how government works. Well, you clearly don't know how cronyism works if you don't understand that the PM has a direct line of influence on the Bank of Canada. It's the way it works. Sorry, Robert Reed. You're just not getting it. Now, this is a gotcha that ain't a gotcha. So watch members of the Parliament laugh at Pierre Poilievre for calling the Bank of Canada rate cut an emergency panicked rate cut. Listen to them crack up at this. This is a thing.
Americans do not have confidence in him, nor does his own party or his own cabinet, nor apparently does the Bank of Canada, which today was forced into an emergency panicked rate cut
Yes.
to confront the collapsing economy. The governor of the bank said the economy is softer than he expected it would be, and despite the fact that inflation is rising, that all 4 measures of it are above the target, he's being forced to cut the rates to save the economy from outright collapse. When will the Prime Minister stop breaking the economy and call a carbon tax election so we can fix it?
Unreal. Just laughing at him. Now, it reminded me of late 2007, I think around October of 2007. So you may know who he is, you may not know who he is. I don't have the clip handy, but Peter Schiff is an economist, and he had been, warning people about the 2008 housing crisis because he saw it coming. He's like, this is not fiscally sound. This is going to collapse. It's going to collapse, and a lot of people are going to be left holding the bag on this one. And he had been talking about it on the news, and they would bring him on, oh, here comes Dr. Doom, bring him on. Well, we have all our other experts that are selling people stocks and whatever, trying to get people into real estate at the time. And they literally would laugh at him. He would come on and he'd say, listen, this is not fiscally sound. This is not great. We're not getting good signals from the Federal Reserve. We're not getting good signals from the market. People are over leveraged and it's not good. And they would laugh. And they would bring him on so they could laugh at him. And then guess who was absolutely right? First class job reporting news without the propaganda, Clyde. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Nobody's talking about the money. It's dropping like a stone. It absolutely is dropping like a stone. Yes. I should talk more about it. Because we're at 70 cents on the dollar to the US. We are looking at a peso, the great white peso, great northern peso. We got to nickname that somehow. Jackass Whiskey and Pinto Beans with another $5 super chat. The Bank of Canada is not the Federal Reserve. Canada's economy is not powerful enough for a cut in interest rates to have any effect. Well, I mean, it could have some effect, but I think what G-Meister getting in there, gifting 10 memberships to the channel again. Wow, a lot of people are becoming members tonight. And that is big thanks to G-Meister now. Wow, thank you so much. Wow, that's fantastic. Get in there, get in the chat there, and make sure you give G-Meister a big thank you for that. Wow, that was very generous of you. Thank you. But yeah, so the interest rates, they can have somewhat of an effect, but as Marty pointed out on our last chat, as we were talking about this, not enough of an effect for the lenders to actually go down close to prime rates. They're not honoring the rate cuts. So yay, we got a prime rate cut, but all the lenders going, no, this is too risky. We're gonna maintain our rates for mortgages, because that's all they're hoping for. It really is. It's this little can. They're kicking it down the road. They don't want to deal with the aftermath if what's happening happens. And it's happening. It absolutely is happening. Look at this. Canadian per capita GDP falls for a 6th quarter. Supersized cut expected. They saw this. They saw this happening. Because this is a failed economic policy. It's based on a failed theory by John Maynard Keynes. This whole macroeconomics, it works in a different universe from microeconomics. It's we're just gonna inject the economy, and as soon as we inject that economy, budgets will balance themselves. We've heard this. They've been trying it for 9 years, and they are getting desperate right now. 6.8% unemployment. That's the official numbers, right? I wonder what the numbers are if you include, labor participation, people not participating in the labor market, because those are numbers that don't even end up in the unemployment actual numbers. Venezuela of the North coming soon. You're looking at it. You're looking at it happening. We're now as poor as the poorest U.S. state. Isn't that incredible? And we... Wow. Wow. That is unreal. Like you said, Clyde, the current government is so irresponsible economically, it's hard to believe it's just incompetence. Yes, it really is hard to believe that. And I'm still on the fence about that. What do you guys think in the chat? Because I am pretty on the fence about that. Because, I mean, if you do read The Great Reset, talks about, Klaus Schwab talks about, you know, upheaval and economic downturns and all this other stuff. Maybe it's by design. Could it be by design? I mean, why else would they want to just destroy the energy industry? Absolutely destroy it. And you know it's crazy. You know it's crazy. You know it's crazy. Check this out. This I saw this morning from James Melville. Says the propaganda is almost laughable now. Almost? I had to double check that this was a real article. I had to. This is a real article with real ads on it, by the way. Humans may be fueling global warming by breathing. New study. What? You got... Oh no. This is the reality. The reality of the situation. What? We are tax peasants. They are the betters. This is a real study. This is a real study. Humans may be fueling global warming by breathing, a new study suggests. Exhaled human breath can contain small, elevated concentrations of methane and nitrous oxide, both of which contribute to global warming, according to research related last week in the UK journal PLOS. I mean, people have been talking about, you are the carbon they're trying to reduce. And here it is. Here it is. Jackass Whiskey and Pinto Beans with another $10 super chat. You're very generous tonight. Thank you. Stocks, equities, and bonds, interest-bearing securities, move in diametrically opposed directions. Canada lowering its interest rates will not bring investment to Canada. Does Canada issue any bonds? Well, Canada issues bonds. They have bonds, but yeah, it's not helping. It's telling people that, well, you're just gonna get paid back at a lower at a lower interest, and then on top of that, don't laugh. They are the anti-human betters. What? Yeah. Lower interest rates does not make people want to buy our bonds. That's for sure. But again, like I said, it's a soft default. You know, the only way you're going to reduce the interest rate is by putting more liquidity into the marketplace. Now, this is a phenomenon like a lot of people don't really understand. It isn't that difficult. And Ludwig von Mises, in his theory of money and credit, really made it very simple to understand. Now, we all know what a supply and demand curve is. And the idea is that when there's, a lot of supply of a thing, demand goes down. And then the supply and demand curve meet at some intersect in there. And then that's kind of your utilitarian price mechanism. That's where the margins meet. And that's where a market will go. You know, so if you have a lot of demand for a thing, then the supply will go up. Entrepreneurs, they'll go, hey, that's a great market signal to get into that. I'm gonna go make more of those widgets or whatever the heck it is, right? So this is the idea of how prices are derived, right, in a marketplace, because you're talking about like thousands and thousands and thousands of actors making independent decisions constantly all day long that set a fluctuating price all the time. And that's how the market decides what prices are going to be. Do you think that interest rates would be any different? Well, they want you to believe that they're different. That's not the way it works. It's not that. No, but it is. It's absolutely. I hate economics. I love economics. I'm fascinated with it. But this is absolutely how interest rates work. Interest rates are what? And this is where it gets really beautiful. This is where Mises came out and he made it elegant. The theory of money and credit. And where he did it was he introduced a new idea that was a foreign idea up until that point, that people are willing to pay a surplus on liquidity in the moment for what they call a time preference. I want to have it now. I want to have it now. I don't want to have it later. I need it now. There's an immediacy to me getting it now. And, well, what's the supply? The supply is savings in the marketplace. So there's a whole bunch of, you have to have a bunch of people who have liquid assets, i.e. money in the bank. And then that money is available for rent. Yeah, it's available for rent. You can have it. I want it back. And you got to give it back to me by a certain date. And the price for that is how much you're willing to pay for that. How much on top of the paying back that amount are you willing to pay? And this is where interest rates come out of a marketplace. And it when you add the factor of time preference, boom, absolutely, it makes a lot of sense where interest rates would sit. And they try to manipulate them with central banks. This is why, the founding fathers of the United States really hated the idea of a central bank. Andrew Jackson got in duels with people over not creating a central bank, and he was successful at staving it off. But they eventually got their not Federal Reserve. Jackass Whiskey and Pinto Beans with a $5 super chat. I was told that Canadians are not allowed 30-year fixed rate mortgages. Is that true? If so, it is a horrible policy. So no, there are no fixed rate mortgages for 30 years. That doesn't exist. Not like in the United States. So from what my understanding of it is, well, you have to renew your mortgage, even though you have it for 30 years. You have to refinance every 5 years, I believe it is, and that's when even a fixed rate mortgage resets, and there's a reset every so many years. So the bank's not taking on that risk for 30 years on contemporary market interest rates, and that's where they stand on that. Myron ends with a $10 super chat. All an interest rate drop does is kill investments. My long-term ones do not gain from that. Now I'm having to play with the stock market to increase them. You're absolutely right. So what ends up happening is, there's a lot of people that don't know what to do with their excess money. And that's fine. That's fine. There should be not everybody needs to understand how all these markets function. And those people are great candidates for putting their money in the bank so the bank can lend it out to people who want to borrow that money. Right? And that would be a good investment if you had just a proper, not manipulated by central bank interest rate functioning in a market way. Because right now we are in negative savings. Right? In Canada, we are in negative savings. So the amount of liquidity available in the market is negative. It's negative. There's not enough. So if there's not enough supply of a thing, the demand's going to go way up. Well, what happens when you have no supply and lots of demand? Prices go up. And that's how it should be. This is the market interest rates are higher. But the government comes in and they want to lower those interest rates. So what do they have to do? They have to make liquidity. So they have to make liquid assets. They have to make money to give to the banks, inject the banks with liquid assets, and then they can lend those out. That's how it works. And it's inflationary. It's absolutely inflationary. The people who advocate for this, they'll always say, well, it's velocity and the money supply grows and then it'll shrink. But then on that same person 2 minutes later, we'll say, "Yo, no. Low inflation's bad. Deflation is bad because people won't buy. So we need to keep inflation up." Like, wait, so then it's ever expanding the monetary supply. You're never shrinking the monetary supply. It's not fluctuating. It's not like you described. So it's a tax. It's the tax that nobody realizes it's a tax. Because if their target goal is 2% inflation every quarter, by the way, 2% inflation per quarter compounded, then that's a 2% tax on your savings 4 times a year. 2%. That's their target, is to tax you 2% on every dollar you've already paid taxes on and have sitting in a bank account. So yes, people are encouraged to throw their money into the stock market. They can't just, I'm gonna invest in a farm. I'll give a farmer a loan by purchasing a piece of equipment for him, or you know what I mean? Invest in these long-term strategies. Invest in a company that my money will be tied up in it, but I'll have value there. And if the company does well, then it'll pay out dividends. That's a great investment. This is the kind of investment that builds an economy. What we're doing is we're consuming all of the capital that's in Canada, and we're leaving nothing behind. Oh God, we have Clyde talking about his favorite subject. I'll go on huge rants. I'm sorry, forgive me if I go too much into this. It's all because of the vibe session, isn't it? Ain't it? It's that vibe session. People just, they're not getting the right vibes. You gotta get them vibing right. Freeland vibe raiders. Oh, oh, you got me on that. Oh, wow. Wow, you did get me on that. Yeah, vibe session's a lesbian term, apparently. Loather, yeah, absolutely. Holy cow. I went on a pretty big rant there. Anyway, now that you understand why interest rates work, and why artificially changing interest rates actually just leads to bubble economies, because again, people get into other investments, usually speculative investments, i.e. the stock market. Well, in Canada, what did they go into? They went into mortgages. They went into real estate, into properties, and that bid up our market. We've seen this before. .com bubble, the whole 2008 crisis was a real estate market bubble in the US. All of these things. Clyde, please educate us who were not in our public ed. Yeah, we don't learn this stuff in our public education. We ought to. I think if people learned good economic theory in high school, you'd have a lot less socialists. Oh boy. And again, I don't want to, because here's the danger of like what Trudeau has done. He's blamed the American voter, which is absolutely ridiculous, dumb. He's blamed the American voter for what's happening in America. You serious? I want to find that clip again because I've got that. They're laughing at him. It's just insane that they're laughing at him for his take on this. But yeah, he's blaming the voter. Don't do that. Don't do that. I don't blame liberals for being economically illiterate. I do despise the schmarmy, like you get a lot of the people. I love this insult that they'll throw at you. They'll be like, read a book, Okay, which one? Give me a list of books. I'll give you a list of my books. How about that? because they just expect you. You're not liberal. You must be uneducated and stupid. You're one of them dummies, aren't you? Get a grip. This is this thing. I don't understand where liberals ever thought this was a thing. This concept that people who are not liberal or are not socialist are not smart. In fact, it's when it comes to economics, it's actually the opposite. It's the opposite thing. Is like people, okay, maybe you're book smart on a bunch of other stuff. Great, cool. But when it comes to economics, you really lost it. You lost it with the whole socialism thing. It's just feels. You're like, I feel like everybody should share. It doesn't work out. Robert McFallon with a $5 super chat. Exchange the word process for Marxism. It all makes sense. Or is it progress? Yeah, with Marxism. It all does make sense. Ooh, I need to crack that fan on. One sec. I'm getting a sweat on. Oh, I need to... Yes, progress. Progress. We were supposed to have progress. It's not the way it was supposed to be. Give me a break. Give me a break. Jackass with another $5 super chat. A house should not be an investment. It should be where you live. Investing entails risk. Don't risk where you live. Well, that's a good point. But also, you need to understand that housing is a consumable. So a home is a consumable. The land, of course, is not. It holds value. But it's what you do with the land that really holds value. Having a house on a piece of land, it occupies the land. So now it just has like value. And yeah, in a speculative market where everybody's freaking out about housing, you got to get that housing in, and everybody's making TV shows about knocking out load-bearing walls for that roomy feel. Like, it's a frenzy. It's a frenzy. It's called a bubble. That's what happened. And we're just waiting for it to pop, and the government is actively going, no. Keep that pump on that thing, baby. Keep that pump on that thing. No. We can get a few more months, a year out of this. Come on. Keep it going. Just long enough that the conservatives will get blamed when the economy goes to crap. That's what they want. And this is why we're probably better off having Trudeau until 2025. Really, at the end of the day. It's getting heated, Clyde. Yeah. Educated does not equal intelligence. No, you're right. I love it. Some guy got into it with me today on X, and what was his it has name, but then next to his name it has some, the usual emojis to give you the virtue, and then it said enlightened atheist. Like what? Oh, okay, so you don't believe in something, so you're smarter than the rest of us? I don't buy that. It's just the dumbest thing. So what? You don't believe in stuff. So what? It doesn't mean you're smarter at all. I don't believe in that thing that you might believe in. I'm intelligible. What a dumb thing to be proud of. And I'm nothing against atheists, but just this whole idea of like whatever. Anyway, Myron ends with a $20 super chat. Reading is not a skill anymore. I work in trucking and I got people who can't figure out how to use that skill. Send it west when it needs to go east. They all have a dumb phone in their pocket. Don't make the effort. Well, that's crazy. Yeah, reading is not a skill anymore. No. And I had someone else argue with me recently, like, Canada's great. We're leading in what was it? Literacy. Everyone's leading in literacy. The smartphone and social media have boosted literacy better than any government education system ever. People just want to be able to read so they can read each other's schmarmy texts at each other. I'm not kidding. The internet has brought more literacy than any other measure ever. But thank you so much, Myron Hens, for the super chat. I really appreciate that. Dale Tulk, member for 15 months. Thank you so much for that. Says the people voting Liberal are either entrenched in the matrix or just used to have the government taking care of them. Yeah. And this is the thing. I don't blame them for thinking, again, a lot of the ideas, they sound good at first on your feels. But when you dig under you'll pop the hood on socialism, and it's just awful. It's just awful, the atrocities that occur. And then not only that, like, especially when people are, they're fervent, like a religious fervor, right? As soon as things start going bad in socialism, people dig their heels in, and then they start to justify doing really bad things to people in order to keep that socialism going, rather than stopping and rethinking and going, maybe it's our policy that actually caused this. Maybe that is what's going on. We've seen it time and time again. I mean, Mao's China, they let people starve. People were boiling pillows to try to get nutrients out of the marrow in China, just because they wouldn't give up on a central authority telling people when to plant their seeds, how to plant them, what seeds to plant, whether they make their rows north and south or east to west. I'm not kidding. Central authority cannot do this. You need a market economy. It's millions of individual decision making happening in real time. Cannot be done without the price mechanism of the market. Yeah, pillow stew. That's a real thing. That is a real thing. And it's a nightmare. It's a horror that came from socialism. And many, many similar things came out of other socialist places. That's just only one example. In the name of religion, in the name of money, in the name of colonialism, in the name of the greater good, in the name of your comrades. You keep going on. You could keep going on. Sometimes you just have to stop, rethink. I mean, I have to do this all the time as a mechanic. Like, you're diagnosing a problem. Sometimes you think it's that thing. If you just hard nose go after that thing, and then never consider the fact that you could be wrong, you'll never find the real thing that's gone wrong. And I'm sure, doctors diagnosing patients go through the same thing all the time. Jackass Whiskey and Pinto Beans with another $10 super chat. Really appreciate it. Thank you. I made money in stocks with a buy and hold strategy. I ain't that smart. I made money slowly. I've held all my stocks for 30 plus years. I am a Christian and Jesus is my savior. Awesome. Yeah, no, that's a great strategy. A great strategy for life and the immortal afterwards. Absolutely. It's the problems that governments put people in, the dilemma that governments will put people in, again with our savings. But here's the thing. People don't have to worry about where they put their savings in Canada anymore, because they don't have any. That's the reality. But let's get to that clip. I wanted to show that clip from the news, in Fox News, because this is funny. This is funny. CBC Watcher brought this one to me. Well, this is going swimmingly. This is their response to Trudeau.
Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau tried to hit back at President-elect Trump, but instead he managed to insult you, all of you Americans out there. You may remember at a recent meeting, Trump reportedly suggested to Trudeau that Canada become the 51st state if the country couldn't handle his border tariffs.
That's funny.
Trump then doubled down on the jab, labeling the Prime Minister the, quote, governor of Canada. Here's Trudeau's attempt at a counterpunch.
Okay, we'll get into that counterpunch in a second. Chrome Fiction with a $5 super chat says, try to be the devil's advocate. How could Trudeau and the Liberals turn this around? And pardon me. And which districts will never vote Conservative? So I think a lot of districts or ridings that I thought wouldn't vote Conservative are now looking conservative, looking very conservative. But yeah, you go to places like Vancouver, things like that, and it's going to be almost impossible to turn those people around. The branding of conservatism is so deeply, like, they have this, like, some people have like a moral outrage at the thought, just even the thought, and it really is just priming. It's priming, propaganda, all of those things. But that's the reality. But as more people are opening up to the idea of a conservative prime minister in Canada and voting for him, like people who are Liberals or NDPs, they're growing. They're growing in numbers. They are growing in numbers. But yeah, trying to be a devil's advocate, how could Trudeau and the Liberals turn this around? Well, they would have to show results. And I don't mean fake, made-up results that would fizzle very soon. Like all these numbers, like, oh, interest rates or inflation rates are at the lowest they've been, and blah blah blah. You know, you keep hearing this from Chrystia Freeland, when the reality is people go to the supermarket and food's never been this expensive. It's just insane. So yeah, I mean, until results actually turn around and people can afford houses and all these other things again, this is the reality. Let's get into this clip.
We were supposed to be on a steady, if difficult sometimes, march towards progress. And yet, just a few weeks ago, the United States voted for a second time to not elect its first woman president. Everywhere, women's rights and women's progress is under attack, overtly and subtly. But I want you to know that I am, and always will be, a proud feminist. You will always have an ally in me and in my government.
Sounds like a small room.
Well, he seems very proud of himself right there. I mean, Kennedy, could a counterpunch get any lamer?
No, I watched that and I went, wow, Justine Trudeau. What
Governor of the Year.
What brand of tampons do you use?
That's
I'm
hilarious.
A proud feminist. It's like, my goodness, I'm trembling with fear. Please don't invade us with your soy boyness.
Lauren, okay, so the Canadian Prime Minister insults all Americans. That's what he did.
It just seems so unnecessary.
Unnecessary, indeed. It's very unnecessary. Just this is the reality, though. The thing is, they failed at everything. They failed at all of their policies. Everything that they're saying is gonna be a great thing. We're gonna introduce this new program, and it's gonna be so great for everybody, and it'll only cost you more tax dollars and put us in more debt and raise the amount of interest we're going to be paying on that debt. Now, here's a great post from amazing Zoltan, Alex Zoltan. He put this out today. I haven't even had a chance to read through it, but I kind of get where it's going. Fake programs by fake people. The unauthorized story of the Trudeau-Singh government legacy of promising everything and delivering nothing. From free dental care to affordable housing to $10 a day daycare, childcare, the legacy of the Trudeau government will be one of fakeness. It's just fake. Fake stuff. You know, food programs for kids that haven't even made a sandwich, but have cost us billions of dollars. It's unreal. Introduction. In a world of photo ops and platitudes, the Trudeau-Singh government has mastered. Are these real photos? Yeah, they are real photos. You didn't even go to Grok for this. Mastered the art of politics and performance. But behind the curtain lies a trail of broken promises, half-baked programs, empty rhetoric, falsehoods, and fraud. Lots of fraud. Tons of embezzlement. Yeah, let's unpack this legacy. Wow, all kinds of cronies making a buck off of charities that didn't even help anybody. AI is having hallucinations. Yeah. Oh, there's all kinds of crazy stuff. AI is incredible. Some of the stuff that it can produce. And Grok just got an update, so some of that's getting pretty good. Jackass Whiskey and Pinto Beans, another $5 super chat. Women don't trust or like feminists who aren't women. You shouldn't. I call them cuttlefish. Have you ever heard the concept of cuttlefish? So cuttlefish have this weird reproductive strategy. Excuse me. So the weakest of the males, what they do is they pretend to be females because they can change colors and do all that stuff, right? So the weakest of the males, so like the alpha males come in and they come in, hey, ladies, what's happening? It's that time of year again? All right, let's make a bunch of us. And they do their thing, but with the what you call them, betas, I guess? I don't know. The weak males. They have a strategy for reproduction where they pretend to be females when all the men are around. When all the males are around, they pretend to be females, and then when the males, the confident males, they all leave, they stay behind, and they I can't say the word on YouTube, but they engage in some struggle snuggles. Let's just say, and that's a reproductive strategy. Yeah, cuttlefish. And orangutans do that too? What? I didn't know that. But that's a thing. That's a thing. So Trudeau is a cuttlefish for sure. He's one of them. And seriously, it's only a matter of time if you hear about male feminists on the internet. It's only a matter of time before you hear about them involving themselves in not legal behavior of that type. What species was he talking about? About cuttlefish. Cuttlefish, yeah. Yeah, I'm not kidding. So yeah, don't be so proud of being a feminist, men. Yeah, that's not a great thing. Justine already did that. I don't know how true the accusations are. I don't have any solid proof on any of that stuff. Promise affordable housing for all. Reality, spiraling real estate prices and rental market in chaos, and federal programs that benefit neither developers nor renters. Where are the homes for Canadians who need them? In their place, we get one fake program followed by another. Jackass within a $2 one. Are houses being built in Canada? That's a great question. Because there seems to be a big lull in the market right now. And here's an interesting bit. So this just went out, and this isn't the first time this has been pitched, but the number has gone up because the $40,000 number, it didn't seem very enticing for people. So they're going for this new pitch, 80 grand, and they're doing this. Now, again, listen to the pitch. It sounds like a great idea at first, but let's talk about why this is a really terrible idea because of other things that government does.
We're here in Hammonds Plains, Nova Scotia, and this home belongs to Art and Joan. It is a 2-bedroom home with energy-efficient design and accessibility features as well. Now, what's interesting about this place, it's not a traditional single-family home at all. This is a backyard suite. You see, Art and Joan lived in this community for 57 years, and when they ran into certain concerns that demanded more accessible housing options, they approached their daughter Deborah, who lives in the home behind me, to ask whether they could actually build a home on the same lot. Now,
that's a funny way of saying mom and dad are so broke they needed a new house and they can't afford one. Oh, that's pretty painful, but. Yeah, so here's the concept. We're going to give you $80,000 to build another home on your land that you can rent out to people, or you can make available. Here's the thing.
These homes have different names. Some people call them secondary suites, garden suites, backyard suites, accessory dwelling units, but what's most important is people like Art and Joan get to call this place home. We want to make it easier for more families to embrace innovative housing solutions like this, which is why we've put forward a new low-cost loan worth $80,000. We believe these kinds of ideas can help solve the housing crisis, and we want to make it easier for you to embrace the solutions that we know exist.
All right, $80,000 going out to everybody who just wants to build a house in their backyard. Just go build a house in the backyard. No problem. Here's 80 grand. They don't tell you how much this is going to actually cost you and how long it'll be before that'll even be there. Holy cow. Try to build a garden shed in your yard. Try to build a garden shed in your yard anywhere. Why do you think part of Pierre Poilievre's plan is cut the red tape? You don't hear the Liberals saying anything about red tape. The cabinetry is actually like $20,000 of that. Yes. Yeah, just cabinets. That's not even the whole kitchen. Slumlords assemble. Yeah, right? Holy cow. But here's the thing. Try to get a permit to build one of those things. I mean, I was talking to Marty the other day. When he built his shed, he was like back and forth. He thought he brought the plans and then he would get his permit. No, he brings the drawings, the plans, and they mark a little red, go home, redraw it. And then he goes back and then, oh no, I found something else. He had to go back 3 times just for the drawing for a shed. Oh, it's insane. It's insane. The amount of time they waste, the amount of money that's wasted. Jackass Whiskey with another $2 super chat. Canada does have lumber for 2x4 framing. Yeah, Canada. Yeah, we have lumber for 2x4 framing. We don't always keep the best wood in this country, which is the sad part. Go to Home Depot and get your wobbly sticks, your warped sticks. Yeah, and if not, then you're paying really good money for that. Subdivision of housing lots is a scam and a sham. Poor planning does nothing to help people. No, and it just creates like way more tighter quarters in neighborhoods and whatnot. Oh, I'm just gonna put a whole house in my backyard. Yeah, we're gonna get those. Make sure we get those immigrants that came over here that weren't vetted. Get them living right behind us. You know, never got a police check. Those guys right there. That's where we're going to have them. Oh, but that's the reality of the situation. Because we don't know where a lot of these people are coming from. Well, we know where they're coming from, but we don't know a lot about what's happening. Now, another clip released this just today. I wanted to talk about this. So Pierre Poilievre, a lot of people are saying, well, he doesn't really address the issues. He doesn't talk about the things that I want to hear him talk about. Even though he's brought up a lot of the things. Brought up a ton of the things. But people are like, I want him to atone to me every day of the week. The reality of the situation is he's probably wants to talk about issues that are concerns for people who tend to vote liberal, tend to vote conservative. At the moment, that seems like a strategy for someone who's pretty much already got your vote. Unless you're going to vote Bernier, which, I mean, crumple in the wastebasket. I mean, why did you do? Okay, if you want to waste your vote, it is your vote. But that's a thing. But, okay, so here's Pierre talking about some of these issues.
The Liberal Party has left them. And you know what Montreal Liberals tell me? They're not leaving the Liberal Party. The Liberal Party has left them.
Yeah.
And I'm here to say, with my arms wide open, welcome.
So on that front, and I want to talk about the protests, what we've seen for now over a year in this city. Liberal government, they can make the argument, well, we've never invested more. They pay for a special representative on Islamophobia. They pay for a special representative against anti-Semitism, right?
Wow, what has that done? Have these special representatives been out in the street shutting down these riots? What, every time there's a problem, Justin Trudeau creates a new bureaucracy, creates a new high-paid position for someone with a corner office making $250,000 of taxpayers' money, and the problem gets worse. spending more money on these problems is not the solution.
So you become prime minister. People like Amira El-Gawabi and Deborah Lyons lose their posts?
I think these posts are useless. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I don't think they do anything.
No.
And I also think we have to stop dividing people by race, ethnicity,
Love this.
religion. I think all racism is bad. I'm against every form of racism. And
there's a major form of racism that doesn't get really published a lot. We don't hear a lot of people talk about this. Linda Hunter, remember, for 18 months, says, I am the most gifted sub you have. Thank you. Thank you, chat. The 07 is okay. I was trying to figure out what that is. Thank you. I appreciate that. Andrew Skinner with a $5 super chat. Vote PPC, but still love Clyde. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. We can disagree. And here's the thing. I agree with a lot of the things that people who advocate for the PPC say. I don't buy it. And we could get into that in a minute. I want to talk about this point that he just made. So talking about racism, all kinds of racism are bad. Like any kind of racism, I'm with you on that one. But one that doesn't get talked about enough is the huge racism that you see from the left all the damn time. And it's what do you call it? I think it was Thomas Sowell who calls it the soft bigotry of low expectations. The idea that these affluent liberals in affluent neighborhoods, they think we just need to save those ethnic minorities from themselves, because if we didn't come in as saviors, they'll just be living in squabbles. Like, get off your high horse. Get out of your ivory tower. What are you talking about? There are so many people that are fine. And in fact, it's a lot of these social programs that end up trapping people in. Seriously. Like you look at the traps that people have, and it doesn't matter what ethnicity you are, what anything. It doesn't matter. If you get trapped into it, whether you're a native on a reservation or you were, Slavic in Eastern Europe under the communists, the bad economic incentives lead you into a bad situation where you can't get yourself out of it. Now, luckily people can get off the reserve and join the rest of society. There is nothing stopping people from making the best of their life in Canada. It really is. But social programs will trap people, they'll bog people down to a point where, you'll be denied your benefits if you even try to go get a job and better yourself, get an education, get all those things. The trap is real. I mean, Milton Friedman's been talking about it. He was talking about it for decades. Thomas Sowell's continued that discussion about that and the soft bigotry of low expectations. That is another form of racism that we need to do away with. Everybody can be successful if they're given the right opportunities. That's it. But they have to apply themselves. That's the discrepancy, is the application. Jackass Whiskey and Pinto Beans with another $5 super chat. Thank you. Conservatives in Canada need to stop wanting to be liked and realize that no matter what they do, they will not be liked by the mainstream media. That's the thing. That's very true. That's very true. And Pierre Poilievre, I think he falls into this category. Absolutely. No, what you want is someone like Trump. What you want is someone like Trump who's just like, you know what, forget it, don't care. But it would come with all that stuff. They're too afraid. Pierre's too afraid of being labeled as like Trump, because he believes that if you look at what the news media will tell you, everybody hates Trump. Well, we'll see because this is why it might be beneficial that our election doesn't go until 2025, because more people, it's going to give more time for people to wake up, especially when they see a year of Trump in office and all the things starting to flow and pick up and all of that stuff. Maxime is like Trump. No, he's not. No, I don't think he is. I don't give a crap about MSM, and I love Pierre because he's not afraid of them. He fights back and he makes fools of the mainstream media. I agree. And I agree with you, James. But let's finish this clip.
I also think we should treat people like individuals. And let's get back to Martin Luther King. Judge people by the content of their character rather than the color of their skin.
Absolutely.
There's never been more racism and racial tension than now after 9 years of Trudeau. Yeah. 250% increase in police-reported hate crimes under Justin Trudeau. Why? Well, one, he allows the criminals out on the street. Two, this toxic wokeism deliberately divides our people into different racial segments and then turns them at war against each other. By the way, we're seeing it happen now in the Liberal Party, where Jewish Liberal MPs are now fighting with Muslim Liberal MPs,
yeah, that's gross.
Where Hindu Liberal MPs are fighting with Sikh Liberal MPs. We didn't have these problems before. When my wife came here as a refugee to Montreal.
Okay, we'll get into that in a second, but wokeism is on the chopping block. Woke, period, is on the chopping block, and it's great. And I'm glad that I've been a part of this. I'm glad that you and me, and we've all been together on this, destroying woke. The woke ideology is in its death thralls, right? It's death throes. It's totally, it's on its way out. And this is great because we're seeing stuff like the Redskins in the United States, you know, talking about getting the name of their team back. I would love to see Land of Lakes bring back the little native girl. That would be great, because the joke about wokeism is when it came to Land of Lakes, they came in, they took the land in the lakes and they got rid of the natives. Like that's the joke, right? It's woke that did that. It's woke that did that. It's woke that has pitted people against each other on racial bases, on you know, determining between races, or whether you're a male or a female, or you identify as something weird or whatever. Who cares? All of that is inconsequential. Who cares? It's over for that. And it's coming to an end. It's coming to an end. I love the fact that we're actually living at this time that this is happening. It's been a lot of years in the making, and it feels great. It feels great to watch.
You know, decades ago, she understood her problems from Venezuela were left at the door. She got to be a Canadian. She was handed a Canadian flag and said, congratulations, you're part of the greatest country on earth. Your neighbor, regardless of whether he was on a different political side back in South America, he's now a fellow Canadian and he's your friend. That's how it was. That's how I want it to be. Let's put Canada first. Let's unite our people again.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's unite our people again. And part of that is, and in my whole mission statement, one of the things that I like to show on this channel, because I've always grown up a dual citizen in Canada, US, I hold both sides on this one, and I want to see the legacy of Pierre Elliott Trudeau gone. I want to see that whole concept of, you know, either we're better than America or we don't like America or any of that stuff. I want that gone. I want that gone. I want us to see eye to eye, be on the same page, and be encouraging each other to do better. You know, I love this thing. Props to Uncle Ben. Yes, props to Uncle Ben. Whether you're talking about the rice guy or Spider-Man's late uncle. Are you born in the U.S.? No, I was born in Canada. But I've always, growing up, I always lived in border towns. My run ends with a $10 super chat. I identify as a winter vegetable. Leave me planted on my couch. Beer, anyone? Well, I'll have one. You just treated me to one. Thank you. Appreciate that. And I just cracked it. I like that. Winter vegetable. Compelled speech. Yeah, well, we can get into that. Why don't we get into that? Okay, so you get this back and forth. I often get this with the PPC guys. And the only people who say CPC are the PPC people, Conservative Party. This is a thing, and every once in a while I'll chime in on it, but then, sometimes, there's a whole swath of the people in the PPC crowd that are, well, they'll hound you like crazy, and then a lot of people will tend to like shy away from even criticizing the movement of the PPC or any of that stuff. At first I thought, PPC sounds like a great idea. Let's bring in another party that can expand. I mean, we've expanded the left so much. Why not expand the right in another way? Why not? And reach out, especially as I was mentioning before, there's a lot of people that, for one reason or another, do not like the Conservative Party. They don't like the color blue. They don't like anything to do with anything. They don't like haircuts that are combed over this way. I don't know. They just have a distaste for conservatism or any of that stuff, right? And because of that, there is a huge opportunity, especially in today's time. There's a huge opportunity for somebody else to come in, either an independent or a new party, and say, listen, we're not those guys, but we do hold a lot of your values, former NDP voter, former Liberal voter, and it would be great if you would vote for us and we could be your representatives in Parliament and whatever, right? That there's an opportunity there. And I don't think that that's the opportunity that Maxime Bernier and the People's Party of Canada have taken. Where do they run? They run in conservative ridings, conservative bloc ridings. I've yet to see, candidacy in these areas. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong on that. Because, I mean, this is a dialogue. I'm happy to have it. The PPC have zero traction. If they get one seat the next election, I'll be shocked. Yeah. I voted PPC in 2021. That did. No seats. I'll give Pierre a chance to turn things right. He's got a lot of work to do, or undo in this case. Canada first. And here's the thing. I don't care who gets in. Well, obviously I care who gets in. It doesn't matter who gets in. I'm going to be on their case regardless, right? And I'll make my vote the way I want to vote, and people vote the way you want to vote. I make the jokes that, PPC vote right into the trash can. That's a thing. Mad Max got lost in the shuffle, methinks. Well, and then that's where that is. I've had Max on the show twice. I'm not particularly convinced of his how enthused he is, but I could be wrong on all of that. He blocked you on X. He unfollowed me on X, and I think he got just had a little sensitive moment there, and that's sad. That talks about wanting to be the leader of a country, but you can't take the criticism. And this is where it is. Jackass whiskey and pinto beans with another $10. You betting it on the house tonight. Thank you. I really appreciate that. A very important intellectual issue for me is the age-old debate of rationalism versus empiricism. It's so important that most people don't even know that it involves their entire life. Well, I'd have to get into that. That's a huge topic to get into tonight. But no, that is an important discussion. There's a place for the PPC, many good candidates, and rightfully so. So Payman's running in my riding. I like him. I happen to like a lot of his ideas. I'm not poo-pooing everybody that's involved. Please don't take it that way. I hope people don't take it that way. I do get turned off by a lot of the fan base, and I'm not saying everybody that is a PPC supporter is like like an aggressive Jehovah's Witness or something. But there are a lot of them. PPC needs to establish themselves with good candidates, not hastily running nobodies when there's an election. It can't just be Max. That's it. And like I said, I haven't been completely convinced with Max entirely. So this person the new right on X said, I want to assure all Americans looking at Canada, Maxime Bernier is the only true conservative leader in this country. He's the guy who Canada needs. He's the guy Canada wants. Pierre Poilievre is nothing but a liberal in disguise. Well, I disagree with that. I disagree with that completely. I mean, I'm not a cheerleader for Pierre Poilievre. It's not be the case. But I think this is a bit of like exactly what's being accused of on the other side of it being like a savior complex thing, and it appears to be that way, because I mean Max is the only face of the PPC other than, you know, I mentioned Payman, great guy, but you know he has his own ideas other than Max. But I pointed out Max voted for gender ideological compelled speech against the advice of Dr. Peterson and his peers in the Conservative Party. Bill C-16 is now law in Canada thanks to Max. Don't judge Max by what he says. Judge him by what he's done. So Max was part of the government as a conservative. Not keen on Bernier. PPC is a good idea, but needs some leadership. Yeah. So for people who don't know the history, Max was a conservative MP, ran for leadership, and lost the leadership because largely of the dairy lobby. That was a thing. So Max, yeah, that's the thing. Now, I asked him about his whole thing on Bill C-16, and he wiffle-waffled, and he just said, I trusted people, and they told me to vote for it. And I'm like, well, I didn't get a great answer on that one. Leadership, don't always just trust on people on such a topic. But that was that thing. What year did that vote happen? Max has appeared with Billboard Chris in the last blah, blah, blah. A bunch of loaded questions. Where did I go with that? Anyway, these are the conversations that happen on Twitter. Oh, I replied here. So Max really just appears to be on a revenge tour against the Conservatives, not for any issues in particular, just what he can pander to with no plan to actually implement. And the reason why I say that is because of my thoughts of, and I did a video about it on Max's new take on the abortion debate, and it was right around the time that Justin Trudeau was trying to make it a debate. Even though the Conservatives were like, we're not changing any rules, that's not even on our platform, it's not even a part of the discussion. And Max put out a presser saying, I'm gonna change the rules so you can't have abortions in third trimester except in certain cases, which is something that I looked it up, and there were no cases of that ever happening in recent times. And also, I looked up the law and how he couldn't even write a piece of legislation like that without actually amending the criminal code, section 233, I believe it was. So I did a bunch of research on it, and something that someone who's drafting these ideas would have to know. And you say this, in a campaign. It sounds like pandering. It doesn't sound like the real thing. Why doesn't he run in any NDP or Liberal strongholds? There's a real chance for a new party to win in these ridings where people have been disenfranchised by these major parties, but would never vote Conservative Party. Based on the past few contests I've observed, it appears that his goals aren't to get elected, but rather to prevent Conservatives from getting elected. And unfortunately, I could be wrong, but that's how it appears. Like, this is the way it looks when you look at the situation. So please tell me I'm wrong. That's where I'm at with it. That's where I'm at with it. And you know, I try to express this, and so I get like, that's a weird response for some specific questions. Not really. It's more of a broad observation. Your questions were loaded. I just assumed you weren't looking for a response to them. Like that's it. Like, I do want to have these conversations, but I just, it's hard to have when people are so heated on it. The people are so heated, and I think that there genuinely is a place for another right-leaning party. But like I said, that would be running in ridings where it typically goes left, or it typically goes to union guys, you know, like the NDP. The NDP is totally screwed the pooch on their union, on workers' rights and everything. No, they've screwed the pooch. And there's a perfectly good opportunity for them to move in and say, no, the conservative, you never liked the conservatives, vote for us. You know, that's my 2 cents. It'll be Harper's fault, Clyde. Yeah, that's right. The conservatives aren't even a right-wing party. No, they're a very centrist party at the end of the day. And that's what I think is appealing, because at the end of the day, I keep saying at the end of the day, in the middle of the day, whenever, we're having a movement right now where people on the left and the right are getting together. I mean, look at what's happening in the United States. We need to have something like that. And, you know, to see Donald Trump, who was never really that right-leaning of a conservative, you know, he wasn't this like huge rightist or whatever. He becomes the conservative nominee, or the Republican nominee. And then what does he do? He's recruiting all these people who formerly were on the left. I think most people were just centrists. And this is very much a centrist populist movement. And we're really in a fight between the people and the elite. That's where we're at. Let's get to some of these. Jackass Whiskey and Pinto Beans for $10 says, a very important intellectual issue for me is the age-old debate of... Oh, no, we've already covered that one. My bad, sorry. Myron ends gifting 10 memberships to the channel. Thank you so much. Holy cow, that's very generous of you. I really appreciate that. And everyone in the chat that just got a membership, please get in there and give Myron a thank you for that. Wow, that's very generous. Thank you. Jackass Whiskey and Pinto Beans again with another $10 super chat. It says rationalism is thought and empiricism is experience. Can't defeat empiricism with this book, Critique of Pure Reason. The leaders in our world have thought without experience. Okay, I'd like to dive more into that. I would love to dive more into that. Joriko 13 with a $5 super chat says, be honest, Clyde, do you see PP coming in with IOC's day one and an actual strategy akin to what we see with Millet? I imagine he'll just blame the Liberal Party of Canada. No, I don't see him being a Millet. Unfortunately, I do not see Pierre Poilievre as a Javier Millet. If we had a Javier Millet, would that be good? Yes. Do I think Maxime Bernier is like Javier Millet? No, I don't. Not at all. Javier Millet is very much a principled person. And so someone coming from like a principled position like that, it comes from a foundation of that. You don't get somebody who's principled like that just taking advice and then voting for compelled speech, you know, at the violent hand of the state and their tribunals to take out comedians and all these people who say things that make people feel bad. That's not something that you would get out of somebody like Javier Millet. He wouldn't just willy-nilly vote on things and then, claim he got bad advice, or who knows, right? Why did he go that way? Against the Conservatives on that one. He voted against the Conservatives. So yeah, Javier Milei would be someone like Javier Milei. Yeah. I mean, I guess I would be that guy. I don't know. No, politics are just gross to me. Knux for Cup with a $5 super chat. This just isn't the election for a new party. We need the party that will remove the current regime. This is a conversation for the next election. Possibly. I think Milei has been studying economics for ages. Check out Lex Friedman podcast. I watched it. It was great. It was really good. And he names off all my heroes, in the beginning. Even named off Dr. Walter Block, who's been on my show, I was fanboying over that one. That was amazing to have the opportunity to speak with him. Jackass Whiskey and Pinto Beans with a $2 super chat. I am pro-life. Abortion corrodes the soul. Yeah, it's a totally different debate in Canada when it comes to the pro-life, pro-choice debate. It's ingrained in the criminal code that, and this is the reason why politicians and people in politics are not talking about the same talking points that are happening in America. In America, they'll talk about when life is determined. Is it at conception? Is it whenever? What time is it? That's been decided in Canada legally, and that's in the criminal code, and that's the difference. So anyone who gives you a bunch of U.S. talking points about it without addressing that first and foremost is probably leading you around and trying to just get you to like them. That's my opinion on that one. Milady Loves Cats with a $20 super chat. I'm sorry, $20. Thank you so much. Awesome live tonight, Clyde. Very informative and interesting thoughts and opinions. I really appreciate that. Now I want to get into this because I'll be remiss if I don't talk about this because I mentioned it since the beginning of the stream. So I better get to it right away. So this got tweeted out. Dan Kelly. Breaking news, 6 hours before the GST-HST holiday is set to begin, CFIB confirms that with government that it's not mandatory for businesses to participate. So remember, I've been talking about this for weeks, that this is going to cost people a lot of money. It's going to cost businesses a ton of money to implement because it's just a logistical nightmare to get a particular list of items, like kids' toys are okay, but like not adult toys, but adult people's toys. So like Legos that are like 3 up are fine, but Legos that might be like nostalgic Star Wars are for adults. So that's not exempt from GST for this time. It's ridiculous. Jackass Whiskey and Pinto Beans with another $5 super chat. Critique of Pure Reason is well worth a read, but it's very dense. It took me 30 years to understand it. Well, let me copy and paste that so I can get that on my reading list. Put this over here. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Same with Human Action. Human Action was quite an intense, dense read, but I do recommend it if you've got the stomach for it. But let's get into this. So yeah, we're expecting this to cost a lot of money, and then it would be inflationary because the businesses that have to spend all the money to fix their computers and all that just for a 2-month period would pass those costs on to the consumer, right? That's the thing. They should sue the government for giving them only 6 hours. Unreal. This measure is now law. We expect businesses to comply with the new rules, but we don't intend to chase after small businesses that might struggle to implement the measure in time. The measure is in time. Sorry, I lost my part there. Oh, okay. There remain pathways for businesses and all Canadians to obtain their GST relief on qualifying goods through the CRA. This is too funny. This is just too funny. My interpretation of this is, one, the government wants everybody to offer the holiday, but no business is required to do so. If a business decides to continue to collect the GST, HST on eligible goods to avoid administrative challenges, it must be remitted in the tax revenue to CRA as normal. Consumers and businesses that have paid the GST, HST on eligible goods can go to the CRA for a refund. Competitive pressure will put most retailers and restaurants into participating anyway. They won't want to risk losing a sale to the neighborhood biz that is practicing. Many manufacturers and distributors like PepsiCo will not participate and will cause a cash flow issue for small business owners. What a mess. So this is nuts. So basically they've said, no, you don't even have to comply with this. You don't have to comply. And what that means is when nobody complies, then you're going to pay GST on all those items when you go to the store. So when you pay your GST, you're supposed to be exempt. You're getting the holiday, right? So then you have to take your receipts, bundle them all together from the whole holiday. So you take your receipts and you got to mark down and jot down all the things and show and prove that you were supposed to be exempt from that GST. And you have to tally up every individual number. And then you have to submit that with your tax forms at the end of the year. Wow. Wow. What a holiday. And for what? How much are you going to actually save? Probably not much money at all. At all. This is the truth. This is the reality of the whole situation. Corporations need to make more money every quarter. The CFO has a fiduciary responsibility to provide earnings to the shareholders. They don't care how those profits are made. Raise prices. It'll only be $12. So still think the GST, HST holiday is a breeze for small businesses, says Dan Kelly. All companies, including the manufacturer and wholesalers selling products subject to the holiday are to zero rate the tax starting December 14th. Here's a response from PepsiCo Canada. If large companies can't do this on time, God help Canada's small businesses this weekend. PepsiCo said, "Dear valued customer, we're writing to address the questions around the GST HST holiday relief program announced by the Government of Canada and PepsiCo Canada's invoicing process for December 14th, 2024 through February 15th, 2025. Please share this memo with your relevant purchasing and finance contracts at your organization. Based on the requirements for payment to be received in full within this period, the specific timing constraints, and our billing processes, PepsiCo Canada will continue charging a GST HST on qualifying products from December 14th, 2024 to February 15th, 2025. There will be no changes to our current invoicing processes. Customers can continue to claim input tax credits for any GST HSTs paid. A decision will be made based on the complexity of our systems and the proposed measures." This is crazy. So they're just like, nah, we're not doing it. We're not doing it. Insane. And Angela Cordoso, the $2 super chat says, "I'll probably cost more just to file your taxes." Yeah. Like whether you do the H&R Block or the amount of time and money and all that spent just doing your taxes. This is stupid. Probably about 10 to 15 bucks. Yeah, that's all you get. Drew Coover, the $10 super chat. Thank God my Lego habit is one for the young mentality. Lego friends for life, Lamau. Yeah. That's way too funny. Robert McFallon with another $5 super chat saying, the Liberals are stealing another $1 billion. Yep. Yay. And none ya business. With the first time 279 super chat on the live stream. Thank you so much. But this is insane. This is where we're at. Marty up north, he was posting this, having a laugh, unboxing his GST rebate, all the coins in a big box. But Marty, you're not even gonna get that yet. You're gonna have to file for it. You're going to have to get the receipts and then file for it later. This is the reality that we're at in Canada. This is the reality that we're at. Stupid politicians with stupid ideas. And again, just like every other liberal scheme, it's dumb. And the implementation of it is just awful. It's absolutely awful. I can't get over that face. Marty's... Oh, Marty. Too funny. All right. I think we've had a great stream. We've gone over a little bit of time this week. I want to thank everybody for coming out. I want to thank everyone. If you haven't yet already, go join the Discord server. I'll be jumping in there. I'll be hopping in there in a few minutes. Just got to do some refreshments after 2 hours of streaming. And then I'll pop in, say hey to everybody. Love to hear what people are talking about this week. Thanks for being patient with me with the People's Party of Canada conversation. I'm trying not to be too hyperbolic about it. I think people are well intentioned, but I'm just not. I don't buy it. But that doesn't mean that I can't get along with people who are supporters of the PPC. So I mean, that's a thing that I want to make sure to throw that out there. And I'm not some pom-pom waver for Pierre Poilievre. In fact, Marty and we've both gotten in trouble for this one, commenting when the Conservatives don't do a good thing and we don't agree with what they've done, and people saying, stop it, you're going to stop them from getting elected. It's like, no. We gotta call a spade a spade. That's the way we're gonna do it. So I want to thank everybody for coming out. You guys have been fantastic this evening. It's really fun catching up and doing this every Friday night. You guys have proven why we should just keep doing this, because it's a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun. Have a great night, Clyde. Thank you, Crystal. I really appreciate that. For people in the Vancouver area, just want to throw this out there. There might be working on a get-together in the Sea to Sky region. If you're keen, we'll be putting that together, I think possibly in January after the holidays. If anybody's keen on that, it would be cool to get people together. I want to do it because a lot of people keep saying, like, Clyde, I'd love to have a beer with you. And that's one thing, and that's fun. I love meeting people. I think that's fantastic. But what I want to encourage more of is actually more people meeting each other. So at events like that, what's really cool is people will get to know each other, and it forms new friendships. And it's people, ideologically aligned, people who have the same sort of vision for your region, your riding, these kinds of things. So the more I can do events like this, the better. And I think that leads to more community building as a whole. It's more about that, in my opinion. And I think that would be a great concept. So I'm going to pitch this idea some more times to let more people know about it. But this is, if you're in the area, would love to get out there and get meeting people. Yes, totally clean on meeting other Clydesters. So yeah, it's I think it's a great idea. And when I visit different places, I'd like to put these things together and announce it ahead of time so people can come out and meet up. I think it would be really cool. So just pitching that one out there, first pitch. Let me know what you think. I think it's a great idea. And of course, thanks again to everybody. Am I forgetting anything? Yes, the poll I had running the entire stream. All right, let's get to this. Let's end the poll. Who won in this? When will we get an election in Canada? Officially, more people out of 794 votes. Thank you for all those votes. More people voted than hit the like button, by the way. I just want to point that out. Okay, but there we are. When Jagmeet Singh gets his pension in February, some people think that we're actually going to go into an election at that point. I honestly think it's going to go all the way till 2025, but hey, democracy has spoken this evening. All right, everybody, it's been a blast. Thank you all for joining this evening and having fun with me while we chatted about all the things I didn't get to on videos this week. It's been a slice, and everybody,